What's up, y'all? It's your girl Jay Renee with Hip Hop Humanism and Hip Hop Humanism Radio. I hope that you're doing well. Today, I'm doing one of my favorite things, and I am showcasing another Wonder Woman. For those of y'all who have not been here before, the Wonder Woman series is dedicated to women who are out here doing their things, different walks of life, be it social justice, be it a business, just being an awesome mom, right? And we're giving them their flowers while they're here to enjoy them, loving on them, and just showing them some love. So that's what we're here to do today. And today I'm interviewing someone very special, all right? I've been watching her for a while. She is definitely a Wonder Woman, and she is out here. Her name is Porch'se Miller. She's also known as Queen, and she's a civil rights activist, okay? So we're about to jump right into it and learn more about her. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm
Peace and
doing very
blessings.
well. Peace and blessings. I'm so glad to have you here today. Like I said,
Thank you.
yes, most definitely. The Wonder Woman series is my favorite journalism that I do, and I always am honored and privileged when I get to have a Wonder Woman, come on and we can just talk about all the wonderful things that you're doing. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, for sure. So give the people a little brief description of who you are and where you're from.
Well, my name is Porch'se Miller. I am here from the Greater Atlanta community here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm one of the community organizers. I am a member of the Atlanta NAACP, and I'm also the CEO and founder of Reformative Action Nationwide Task Force, and I'm a member of the My duty is I am the voice of the movement. I have been picked the voice of the movement by some of the greatest leaders, such as Al Sharpton, Attorney Gerald Griggs. I've walked hand in hand with Reverend Jesse Jackson, Attorney Barbara Alwyn out of Washington, D.C., New Georgia Stand-Up founder Deborah Scott here in Atlanta, Georgia, and the president of Atlanta NAACP, Richard Rose. Those are the people, and also with Black Voters Matter, Latasha Brown. These are the people that I look up to as mentors, as a mentee, to be a service of the people. For the past few years, I've been on the front line with not only myself, but other great activists and social justice leaders and organizers out here in the country. Mm-hmm. I have had the honor in the most dark side of the world of fighting for Breonna Taylor. I was arrested in Louisville, Kentucky. That was really where really everything spiked for me, and I earned a bullhorn, I guess, you know what I'm saying, being out there on the front line fighting, and we're still screaming justice to arrest the killer cops that killed Breonna Taylor during a no-knock warrant. I've also fought for, during the murder case of Ahmaud Arbery. I was in Brunswick, Georgia for about 7-8 weeks with Transformative Justice Coalition, which is led by Attorney Barbara Alwyn and Attorney Darrell Jones, who was down there with the family of Ahmaud Arbery, with his mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, and his father, Marcus Arbery, with the family, trying to get vindication. And they did. It was a win, and also a win for as a federal hate crime case. Yes. So white supremacy did get a big blow to them when it came to the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. I'm also here actually still pending the case for the murder of Rayshard Brooks. We did a action which led me to also get arrested with that case. And, sometimes civil disobedience is necessary. And speaking truth to power is going to always be necessary when it comes to the murders of our black and brown people. Not only that, I do fight in the lane of police brutality, I also fight for voters' rights as well. I was honored to be amongst some great black women to advocate for the confirmation that led to a Associate Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to become one of the Supreme Court judges of the United States of America. That it was an honor to go to Washington, D.C. and advocate for her. So advocating for our voting rights is very necessary as well, and prison reform. You already know, being a member of the PUSH coalition, we do fight for our loved ones that have been formerly incarcerated and incarcerated. I have a son that is incarcerated. I try to leave where he's at because of the protection of, my family. But I also fight for the preventative of keeping our black men and children out of the penal system. School to prison pipeline is real, and it always starts with testing. So we have to know that this fight is bigger than getting that the fight of allowing them to be safe and have reputable security, such as the shortage of COs, because at the end of the time they are incarcerated as well. Right. You know what I'm saying? They have to be there and try to do their job, but when it's short staffed, who is going to protect them as well? And wanting body cams to be put on the COs and to make sure that it's complete accountability and transparency for everyone. And so where we're at now, we're really trying to look at why nobody is being paroled out. And also, it's an action going to be happening all over the country for a young lady named by Melissa that's in Texas that's getting ready to be executed. Right. But we're trying to stop that. We're trying to stop. We're really trying to stop that because Melissa Lucio is an innocent woman, and she should not be executed. We looking for complete clemency for her.
If y'all didn't figure it out, y'all should have been able to figure out why this Wonder Woman is here before us today. Okay? A list of things that you are doing that is out here in this fight above and beyond yourself is definitely commendable, and I thank you. I'm a boots on ground type of lady, so I understand the extra that comes with that. Your safety is in jeopardy. You say you've been arrested a few times, so you definitely know what comes with that. So I commend you, Wonder Woman, for that.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
So, like I said, definitely thank you for all the things that you do for the people, for our people, So let me ask you this, sis. What motivated you to get into this work? Like, what was the thing that sparked into you, like, I have to do my part?
Well, first of all, I'm from Alabama, by the way of New York. However, racism from where I'm from, Southern Alabama, is very heavy. And and I come from a city of oppression where the city of Dothan, the police department, they have a tendency to plant, paraphernalia and drugs and other things on us as black people. It doesn't really matter if you're a woman or a man, but majority of the men have been incarcerated due to poor policing. That's why we all want to ask for qualified immunity throughout the country. So what really sparked me as a black woman is in 2016, first of all, I've been doing advocacy work for over 17 years. So it was mainly like for the community, you know what I'm saying? To, right. Make sure we have peace, right. In our community. Being that I'm an ex-gay member, I know how important it is to, make sure we police in our own community and making sure everything's safe. You know what I'm saying? Right. No women or kids are allowed in the violence. Right. Times has changed. So, 2016, my grandfather had passed. And the day of his wake, me, my husband, and my boys, my son and my nephew, we were in the middle of a neighborhood in Dothan, Alabama, on a street called West Powell, and this particular neighborhood is called Baptist Bottom, so it's called the Bottom. So every city, every little town has its own personal ghetto.
Right.
So as we stopped by the store, we grabbed a couple of juices because it was hot, and if anybody been to Atlanta, this weather is bipolar. So it was cold when we left, it was hot when we got there.
Gotcha.
Long story short, we was going to the store to try to get me a change of clothing, and the police pulled us over. When the police pulled us over on my brand new car my husband just bought me, they pulled us over, for absolutely no reason. And then they said that they smelled marijuana, which is totally untrue. And so once we got out of the car, they pulled us out. They started pulling out all our things out of the trunk of the car. And they was, over questioning my husband. So at the time, Facebook Live was up and going on Facebook. It was fairly new. So I started recording. And as I was recording, me and my sons, we were standing off with another police officer. The police officer was like, "We found some weed," and we all just jumped up like, "What? Are you serious?" So one of the police officers asked me, "Is that real?" We was like, "What's real? Is the weed real?" We was like, "We don't know. It's not even ours." Kind of found out they were trying to plant synthetic weed on me and my family. And they was trying to get it from my husband, but my husband, as a veteran, he does smoke marijuana, and we want it legalized. I'm glad he was transparent with the officers, but the officers did let us go. But they did make us, pour the marijuana, or whatever that was, out, on live, like it was ours, and they tried to act like they'd let us go. That was one of the worst days of my life in Dothan, Alabama. And I highlight them because I know for a fact that's what they do. And so that's what really triggered and gave me the agenda to go after white supremacy and black police profiling.
Right. Wow.
What started me as an activist for the people is the year Sandra Bland was one, Tamir Rice was one, and Trayvon Martin. But when Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Ahmaud Arbery were killed, that's what really triggered the world to really get out here and start fighting for us, because they were killing us every year, every month, back to back. And the start of the new civil rights movement was the death of Trayvon Martin, when he was killed by white supremacy George Zimmerman. That was the start of the new civil rights movement. The start of Freedom Summer was the murder, white supremacy of Ahmaud Arbery down in Brunswick, Georgia. So, but my fight as a frontliner and a social justice fighter was Louisville, Kentucky, the murder of Breonna Taylor. So all of this really was a lot for us as black people. And then once my son, went to prison, and he didn't do anything, but he was at the wrong place, wrong time. So once everybody do something, all go down, right?
Right.
Once that happened, I knew I had to start doing something, and something quick. Even though he's still in there, he got about 10 more years. That right there alone, I said I done had enough. Me, my husband, and my nephew, we all started taking to the streets, boots to the ground. We had our posters. I had my stage, and because I knew we was fighting against a spiritual warfare. Once I started meeting people in this walk of life, it just, I don't know. I call him my mentor because he's the one that gave me the bullhorn. I earned it. I didn't go out and buy me one. I didn't say, "Hey, let me go get a bullhorn because I want to be on the front line." It was nothing of that sort. I was literally minding my business. Right. You know what I'm saying? Trying to fight for the rights as a black woman, because that could have been you, it could have been me, it could have been anybody that was in their house, sleep, watch TV or whatever she was doing, and the police would have came in on that warrant and just started shooting. You know what I'm saying? Kudos to her boyfriend at the time for trying to take up for her household. You know what I mean? So with that being said, that was the start of me as a national civil rights activist, social fighter.
Right. Dang, sis. I hate that you went through that. You know, that experience. That experience is traumatic. Like, it's literally very traumatic. I'm glad that y'all made it through. And, you know, the things that you're doing now, you know, I hate that was what it took. I hate that happened, but it did motivate a series of events, you know what I mean, that's making a lot of change in the world. Tell us more about, like, what you put together, though, like your brand and your organization.
Well, it started out as Georgia Reform Coalition, and I put it together because, as you see, I'm something like a starfish in the movement. And I'm just attached to, you know, I'm connected to so many organizations and leaders all over the country. I was just like, you know, I need to build a coalition where we can get everyone that I'm connected to in one group, and we get out the awareness on what we're fighting for. You know, I started Georgia Reform Coalition due to prison reform and abolitionists that fight for immigrants to abolish ICE.
Okay.
So me and a couple more people, but it's me and Nelson. He was wrongfully detained by ICE, and he started he did a starvation stand while he was in ICE. Okay. And it was powerful, it was impactful, and he ended up getting out along with others. And that's when I found out that they do illegal hysterectomies on the women that are detainees in these detention centers, and, you know, mainly Haitian women. And so when I found that out, I was like, wow, this is bigger than just our brown people. You know what I'm saying? They're detaining anyone that they feel that is an immigrant.
Right.
And it basically all started around the time Donald Trump got in the seat, and they did this massive thing across the country where they were detaining so many immigrants, even the ones that was born here in the United States.
Right.
You know, and Nelson, he's married to a black woman that has a black son. So, you know, it was just a lot, and it caused him to have health issues that he deals with at the present time. But he's still out here fighting and telling his story. Right. You know, and so once I realized how much attached and how much God had laid on how many crosses God laid on me to bear, I said, I need to bring all these people together so we can fight together. Because one thing I noticed is you have some people fighting on this side of the corner, you got people fighting this side of the corner, you got people fighting that side of the corner. But if we come out together as a collective, we could probably get more done, you know. Even whether it's 5 or 55, we're amplifying anyway. Right. But if we can see where everyone is coming from in these different places, such as New York, Florida, here in Georgia, Texas, Mississippi, Tennessee, you know, Louisville, Kentucky, you know, California, all these Wisconsin, even in Wisconsin, if we can see where everyone is coming from and seeing where the fight might be, we can't get to everyone. But if we can help amplify and get the word out, because social media is a platform to do that if used correctly. You know what I mean? We can get the word out and help people amplify what the fight is about in all these lanes, such as the abolishment of ICE, police brutality, prison reform, voting rights, houseless deprivation, economic, you know, unsettlement. you know, and the fight for mental health, you know, and I'm glad they finally passed the bill for mental health, you know, and the legalization of flower cannabis. Right. So these are the fights that needs to be amplified and put out there, you know. And for me, I'm just one of the ones that my agenda is the people. I don't have no extra agenda to, like, you know, I don't have no plans on running for anything. Right. You know, I had people ask me to run for Congress. That's not, I don't think that's what God wants me to do. Mm-hmm. You know, this fight, we're fighting in the dark, and it's also tasking on our mental health. Mm-hmm. You know, it's tasking on our health, and it's tasking on our finances if you're not getting paid for it. Yeah. You know, so when a lot of us get out here and we get out here in the fight, we're fighting with our hearts, but we know it's a head game, so we're fighting with our minds, kind of strategize on how do we beat white supremacy, how do we beat economic depression, how do we beat the prison pipeline, the school to prison pipeline, how do we beat police brutality? Yeah. You know, how do we really get our voting rights to really be what it is that they fought for in 1965? You know, so how do we come together as a collective and do this thing properly? Because if we do not overcome and heal within, we're in a hell of a fight that's going to be a generational curse, and our grandkids are going to be fighting this if we don't do something now. So that's where I'm at, and I'm not a big scholar, and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not the one to throw around extravagant words, because if we don't speak legitimately to everyone in a layman's term, they're not going to know where we're coming from. You know, I do. If we could start and if we could start to know that Jesus was killed by the government and he was a black man, I'm trying to tell you, we already know that. You know what I'm saying? That you don't need to have religion to understand that. What we need to know now, we need God in the fight. We need our pastors to get in the fight, but come out the walls so we can make this thing legitimately happen. Like our people are doing every single day, by the hands of the police and by the hands of white supremacy and by the hands of ourselves. That's how we gotta heal.
You done said a mouthful over there, sis, and I co-sign everything that you said 100%.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sis, so I'm not gonna keep you too much longer. I appreciate you taking this time, because I know, girl, this time is everything. You know what I mean? So I do want to ask you, what's going on? What do you have planned for the future? Is there anything that's upcoming? Any aspirations, things like that?
Plans for the future. I've been hired on with Adjust Georgia as a field organizer here for the state of Georgia.
Congratulations.
And I want to thank Reverend Woodall, the former vice president of Georgia Atlanta NAACP, for recruiting me. I'm very excited about what we're going to be doing here in Georgia. Also, I'm not going to stop the fight, you know, but I'm glad that somebody is taking me under to kind of, you know, get some order in my life. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm not just all over the place, because the fight gets like that sometimes, and it can get overwhelming. But you know, I like I said, as far as my health and my mental state, it gets exhausting. You know what I'm saying? So I have to look out for my health. You know, for in that part. Far as the future goes, basically, continue doing what we're doing. Keeping boots to the ground and maintaining a healthy relationship with God. You know, God lives within us, so I have to make sure I'm keeping my temple as healthy as possible and continue to do His will. You know what I'm saying? You know, like my quote. You know, I'll never argue with somebody Harriet Tubman would have left behind. So you know, we gotta make sure that we're taking the right people that wants to come and. You know, sometimes our family don't want to go. Sometimes our friends don't want to go. Hey, probably the person that we sleep with every night might not want to go. Thank God mine do.
Yes.
However, we must keep going. because we can't look backwards. You look backwards, where we're going to be at a pillar of salt.
Right. Now you said
so
that.
Yeah. So our near future is to continue with the fight, and right now I would be on a case by a young man by the name of Mark Wilson.
Okay.
Yes, he was detained by the police and tased and beat while detained by the police.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's in Statesboro, Georgia. That'll be coming up, actually be going to the first trial April 28th.
Okay.
We'll be going to the first trial for that. So basically just trying to make sure we do our part for that.
I'm gonna definitely make sure I tap in with you on that.
Absolutely. Because we had an incident going on in Mississippi. We almost went to, but we finally, got the information on that, and I'm just glad that the family decided that they would pretty much just take the lead on that. We was like, that's good because we were coming.
Yeah, that's the truth right there.
We was definitely we was definitely coming. So I'm glad that they made arrangements for that.
It worked out for sure, sis. I appreciate you so much, Queen.
Absolutely.
I know.
Absolutely.
I see the work that you do. I'm definitely I'm rooting for you. I'm here for you. I support you. You are definitely a Wonder Woman in your own right. So I always ask my Wonder Women this. Give a shout out to some Wonder Women that you know.
Oh man!
Go on, girl.
First of all, let me give a shout out to you, Miss J. Renee.
Don't make me blush now.
Yeah, let me go ahead and start right there. Thank you for everything you do, and thank you for amplifying, us as you do. I just want to say that it's good to be a Wonder Woman. All heroes don't wear capes.
Yeah.
I also want to give a shout out to Miss Barbara Onwine, Miss Deborah Scott, Miss Latasha Jones. I also want to give a shout out to Hannah Joy, Brittany J, Queen Yanazda, Miss Kimberly Latrice Jones. I want to give a shout out to Mackenzie Macario. She is from Alaska. She's indigenous, and she fights. Okay. Also, that's my best friend. I want to give a shout out to my mother. She's a Wonder Woman. She birthed me to and made sure that with the help of my dad, I become this person that y'all see today. I also want to give a shout out to Miss Melanie Campbell. She the one led the action along with others such as Miss Helen Butler, Miss Felicia, for getting the confirmation for Ketanji Brown Jackson, and also shout out to Associates Ketanji Brown Jackson for standing in such a way, and persevere for going through what she went through while she was trying to be confirmed.
Yeah.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Miss Park Cannon, State Representative Park Cannon, State Representative Kim Schofield, former State Representative Erica Thomas. So these are the ones that I want to just give great. If I miss somebody, charge it to my heart.
Right,
shout out to Brooke, Lulu. Yeah. From Plus Coalition. Shout out to those ladies. They are wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give a shout out to another lady, Demita Bishop. She fights for, we met through past and talked a couple of times, but I believe her heart is amazing. She got her heart in the right place, and she's a go-getter. So, I think that's shout out to Miss Marteria Robinson and Miss Wanda Cooper, Tamika Palmer, Tamika Mallory.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to give a shout out. I can name so many. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing.
Smile. Go ahead.
I'm not missing. Shout out to Kendra Justin mom, Jackie Johnson, for standing to pay for her son that was wrapped and rolled up in a mat while in school. Lucy Macbeth.
Yeah.
She went continuously in the fight. And Miss Stacey Abrams, we're backing her up. That's all I got to say. I got to be nonpartisan, but, shout out to her for being such a Wonder Woman for the state of Georgia.
All right, sis. Like I said, Queen, I appreciate you. Thank you for giving us your time, and you are a true Wonder Woman, my dear.
Thank you so much. Peace.
Peace.